The scripture today is Psalm 118:24 from the King James Version. This is the day which the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I was with a friend of mine last week who I've known for over 50 years, and he has been through a lot of ups and downs. And he pulled me aside and told me something that I think summarizes a lot of our metaphysical teachings. He said, I start each day at zero as a new day. And that's just it's the way he looks at it. That's the way he's just working through. Many times we might begin our days with a very busy mind, full of all kinds of thoughts. Our thoughts might concern events from the past or anticipated future events. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to start each day fresh? To start as a new day, content, where we are at the moment. Like when you're a little kid and you wake up and you want to see what's outside. This is the message of Thanksgiving, a celebration of gratitude for what we have today. Our culture's celebration of Thanksgiving evolved from the ancient traditions of the blessing of the fall harvest. The tradition originated when most people in the world were farmers and were directly involved with working the land and caring for the livestock. In the fall, storing the harvest for winter, it was easy for them to recognize how reliant they were on the weather, on their efforts. Their quality of life depended on the weather, their knowledge of the farming, working together, and caring for the land. Just like today, they coped with droughts, floods, fires, all kinds of disasters. The ability to remain optimistic while experiencing the difficulty was necessary. It was a practiced mindset in an agricultural community. In the last century, for the first time in history, a larger percentage of the world's population live in urban centers instead of farms. This retreat from being directly involved in agriculture alters our relationship to nature and the personal connection to the fall harvest. Before arriving on our dining room table, most of the food we eat travels from the land and sea by passing through many different hands. Thanksgiving is a time that we recognize our reliance on the labor of many people for our quality of life. In our 24/7 culture, it's easy to get caught up in the hype of the daily news and lose sight of the blessings that we have in all aspects of our lives. Imagine life in an agrarian culture long before electricity. Many people had never traveled more than 10 miles from their home. This week in the United States alone, an estimated 80 million people will be traveling for Thanksgiving. The pace of life has changed, but the need for taking time to slow down and give thanks remains with us. It can be difficult after driving 10 hours in traffic or having a flight canceled to be feeling grateful. We've all had those Thanksgivings where it just doesn't work out the way you planned. A friend who was raised in Southwest Virginia did not have an indoor bathroom until she was a teenager. She said that it was common for families like that when she was growing up. Most of us still take our standard of living for granted. I recently read that before smartphones and social media, the first thing most people did when getting out of bed was going to the restroom. Now the first thing many people do is reach for their cell phone. What do you see? You see the emails, the texts, the social media. We have a choice of how to start our day. This past week, I've actively tried to go outside and get the paper, have coffee while reading the paper, and when I'm ready to start my day, to use my phone. And it's been interesting. A few times, I found myself a half hour later wondering, where is my phone? Really nice change of pace. What would be the ideal way for you to start your day? How would you like to get up in the morning? The first quote in the invitator today was by Maya Angelou. "This is a wonderful day. I've never seen this one before." Imagine this being your first thought when you wake up. Even though you look out the window, those trees, the sky, it's different every day. Do you look for what's different, or do you just, that's the same vision I see every day? It sounds a lot like my friend's statement, I start each day as a new day. Some people grumble that roses have thorns. I am grateful that thorns have roses. Everything in our lives, everything will have thorns from time to time. Do we look at the thorns, or do we look at the good part? Thanksgiving and the holiday season can accentuate the roses and the thorns in our families' lives. Our lifetimes of family behaviors and interactions can trigger every kind of emotion. You can anticipate well in advance the interactions of family gatherings. You can also decide if you are going to follow the familiar family patterns, or if you're going to alter your behavior and make it a new day. A few years ago, a friend asked me about a planned discussion with a family member. She told me she decided to just listen and not respond with any remarks that would bring up old feelings. Days later, her sibling called her and said she felt that somehow there was a real improvement in their relationship. They'd been almost estranged for 10 years. But being present, just her being present, listening, honoring her sibling's perspective, allowed her to voice her feelings, to feel heard, and to view the relationship in a more positive light. Being present for someone, you can initiate a new beginning. Just accept whatever their view of the situation was. That is their view. The familiar saying, charity begins at home, might lead us to the tools to function and thrive in our own family and social circles. It begins with at least one individual's positive approach. That one person could be you. Just take a new approach. Metaphysics postulates that everything starts with our thoughts. Our thoughts create our reality, and everyone is responsible for their own thoughts and actions. Everyone has from time to time non-productive negative thoughts. They may be memories from the past, they could be current situations, or just anxiety about the future. We can learn to observe our thoughts and emotions and identify the non-productive ones. When we can witness our behavior, we can learn to direct our attention to productive, positive behavior. An analogy can be made between taking care of our mental and spiritual needs and taking care of our physical bodies. When we look at our body, we know we need to eat, drink, and sleep. We've learned it's important not only how much we eat, but what we eat. We learn our bodies need to exercise to feel good. We find a consistent sleep schedule built around our own circadian rhythms can greatly enhance how alert and physically rested we are. Well, the same way we know all these things about our body, our physical body, in metaphysics, we feel we know the same thing about our emotions, about our peace of mind, our attitude. We believe all those things are in as much control as our physical needs. It's just learning those natural laws, the natural laws of thinking, of attraction, of forgiveness. We can treat our mental state the same way we treat our physical state. Remembering some hard years, a friend told me, I don't want to become an angry old grouch. He focused his attention on family, hobbies, and finding a relationship with someone who shares his interest. He directed his attention to the life he desired. He put in the spiritual work and counseling needed to process the disappointments in the past, and he is building the life he wants. He held tight to his spiritual principles, his family, his self-image, and his desired life. He's doing well. He still has relationships to nurture, but he can work on them feeling good about himself and positive about his ability to bring positive perspective to any situation. Now, this is a gentleman I worked with in my first job. This is a long time ago. And we've kept in touch over the years, and he's in different parts of the country. But, 2 or 3 years ago, we were talking, and I started explaining metaphysical principles. And that's basically what he started changing his whole focus and behavior around. And he still tells me how thankful he is, because it was just a different way to look at it. And he really worked on it. I'd give him homework and he would do it. There's a saying in Judaism, be not like those who honor their gods in prosperity and curse them in adversity. In pleasure or pain, give thanks. Whether you're stuck in traffic or your flight's been delayed, give thanks. It's a mindset. Hard to do, but each of us has the free will and the power to determine what we think and how we view the world. Being grateful, thankful, and positive is crucial to a peaceful state of mind. From Buddhist writings, giving and receiving. When we give to one another freely and without condition, sharing our blessings with others and bearing each other's burdens, the giving multiplies, and we receive far more than what was given. Even when there's no immediate prospect of return, heaven, or karma, keeps accounts of giving, and in the end, blessings will return to the giver, multiplied many-fold. Attention to listening are gifts. Attention and listening are gifts where you receive more than is given, but we must first give. To expect to receive without having given is to violate natural law. What are some examples of thankful giving? Giving friends time, positive regard, and encouragement. Being thankful for friends and that you can be a part of their lives. Working for others without expectation of immediate recognition. Picking up the newspaper for a neighbor. Letting someone go in front of you in traffic. You know how good that feels when someone lets you do that when you're sitting there trying to get in? Charitable giving. There are many food banks in this area right now that really need food. If you can just drop off some food or give them a donation, it'll put some food on someone's table this Thursday. Volunteering. Being active in your family's members' lives. Just call on the family members now and then. There are countless ways we can give. No matter what your situation is, you feel better when you reach out to someone who can use a little help or a kind word. When we think about being kind and giving, we usually think of helping others. But we can also be kind to ourselves and give ourselves a break. Be gentle with yourself. Thankful for your health and the skills you've learned. Thank yourself from your heart for the efforts you put forth in your relationships, your work, your spiritual life. Really think about how much effort you put into learning what you know. Give yourself a break from your daily routines and concerns. Give yourself time to evaluate what is important to you. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Give thanks. Blessings.